What's going on, everybody? James Nutter here, back for another episode of A Life Well Lived, a physician's guide to wealth. We're here to help you take control of your money so you can live a more meaningful life. And that meaningful life is up to you on your terms and nobody else's. And just remember that. And today I want to talk about one of the most violated principles that I feel like I see as it relates to life, money, whatever it might be. And I'd say it kind of involves all of us, but especially physicians. And I think, the number one thing that a lot of us neglect, and myself included, I've been here many times, which is why I feel confident talking about it, is not investing time into yourself. Think of all of the people who seem to have it all in the world. The Robin Williams, the Mac Millers, the Aviciis, for those who are a little bit younger listening to this podcast. They seem to have it all, right? Everything on paper, the cars, the houses, the freedom of lifestyle, and everything. And how many of these people ended up dying way too young and too soon? So I always will say, do not be the richest person in the graveyard, and make sure that you are always finding ways to invest back into yourself first. You don't achieve your goals, you simply grow as a person into your goals. There's a reason why most lottery winners blow it all. They weren't a person worthy of being a millionaire. Just as there's a reason why many physicians live paycheck to paycheck. They're very skilled in their art and their work as a physician, but I know you've heard the horror stories of the physicians that live paycheck to paycheck earning $500,000 a year. How is this possible? Because they didn't grow into a person worthy of earning 100 or $500,000 a year. They had a skill set that earned them that money, but they didn't grow into that. Or how many people do you know they know how to make a ton of money, but they don't know how to be a great spouse or partner? They don't know how to be a great dad. They hide in their work, right? So how you choose to take care of yourself mentally and physically, where you choose to spend your time, who you choose to spend it with, and how you choose to spend your money will ultimately result in your happiness, unhappiness, success, or failure. And do me a favor and just notice the common word above: choose. No matter what the world tells you or the pressure you feel from friends, family, social media, the news, etc., you and I are 100% responsible for our actions, choices, and how you and I choose to respond to the difficulties life throws at us. And trust me, the world is noisier now than it ever has been. At any given point, anybody on planet Earth can get a hold of you. Any news media platform can get a hold of you through a notification. It's the noisiest time we've ever lived in. And trust me, I've lived in that place where I felt like I was beholden to others and their demands, and I couldn't create time for myself because of societal pressures and expectations. And I found that there is a way out, and I want to share that piece of wisdom with you right now. So my number one recommendation for you as the finance guy is, before you fund your 403b, before you do backdoor Roth IRA planning, before you open that brokerage account, before you go buy crypto, real estate, blah, 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 the list goes on and on and on, take time to look in the mirror and invest in you first. Once again, don't be the richest person in the graveyard. How many people do you know that are loaded and they're at the house on the hill all by themselves, right? So you have to take time to invest back in you. You've already done this in your skill set between, paying for med school and making it through training. So you already have invested hundreds of thousands of dollars into yourself for your education, but let's take it one step further. And next, you don't have to take it from me. I know you're just getting to know me. I'm new on this show, but I'll have the most successful investor to have ever walked planet Earth, arguably, Warren Buffett, whom is worth well over 100 billion at the time of this recording, tell you. Here's a quote from Warren himself, and he says, "Investing in yourself is the most economic investment you'll ever make. There's no financial or economic investment that will ever match it, because if you develop more skill, more ability, more insight, more capacity, that's what's going to really provide economic freedom. It's those skill sets that really make that happen." And that's from Warren Buffett, a direct quote from him. So what can you do with this, right? You're already extremely highly skilled in your art and your superpowers as a clinician, right? So you're like, all right, I got that taken care of. Of course, you're constantly working on your skills, but what else can you do to invest back into yourself? I'm not super into rules of thumb, like live like a resident, things like that. Not a believer whatsoever. I think that's a course for burnout. But if you do one thing, I would say set aside 10 cents of every dollar or 10% of everything you earn, which is probably similar to what you're doing for your 403B plan, or maybe probably a little bit less than that, and have a separate account for you that you invest back into yourself. So you're probably thinking, okay, what do I invest in? How do I invest back in myself? What does this look like, right? So one way to assess where you are currently, and something that I do every quarter, I use Darren Hardy's Living Your Best Year Ever program to track my year. And every quarter, you go through a 12-week assessment. But within this 12-week assessment, you don't have to go by Darren's, although you can if you'd like. There's something called the Wheel of Life. And if you're anything like me, every time I go through this, especially the first few times, you'll realize that one area of your life is extremely out of whack and out of balance. Like there might be one quarter where I'm going all in on business and I completely neglect my friendships and my relationships. Or there's one quarter where I go all in on my physical health, but then I slack because I'm staying at the gym too long and I don't get up early enough to make phone calls and things like that. So there's essentially 8 different spokes on the wheel of life. It's physical health, it's financial health, it's your business or career health, it's your lifestyle health, it's your mental health, it's your spiritual health, it's your family health, and it's your relationship with others and your spouse and partner. So my challenge for you in this podcast is to Google the Wheel of Life or pick up Darren Hardy's Living Your Best Year Ever program. You can buy it online or Amazon. I have no affiliation to Darren. I just love his work. And take the assessment. And like I said, if you're anything like me, you're going to realize that you are definitely neglecting certain areas of your life. So, what you do after you take the assessment, look at where your weaknesses are, right? And then what I do every single quarter, Darren calls it a 5-3-1 action plan. I pick out 5 books that I will study. I pick out like 3 audio programs or podcasts, and then 1 training that I will invest in to make that skill better. Now, I'm a pretty slow reader. I can't read 5 books in a quarter, so I do my best. But my thing is, every time I have what's called net time, no extra time. Like when when your body's in motion but your mind is free. Like when you're out for a walk, when you're driving in the car, whatever it might be. I am listening to some type of audio in alignment with my number one skill for that quarter. So wherever your weaknesses are, figure out where you're weak and then figure out what your goals are for the calendar year ahead. And then pick one skill at a time for every single quarter based on the wheel of life and your goals and what's most important to you as a human being, and then find ways to grow in that skill every single quarter, whether it's reading books, investing in self-help training, going to a potential conferences to maybe enhance your skills as a surgeon to make you more money, or going to a real estate conference, or investing in a program to get financial guidance like us at I Am Wealth, whatever it might be. So every single quarter, you write down your 12-week growth plan and you write down, okay, what are the books I'm going to buy? What are the podcasts I'm going to listen to? And what's the training I invest in? And I can't even tell you the amount of things that you can learn if you just continue this quarter after quarter after quarter after quarter. So this is an incredible way for you to invest back into yourself. And I'll just leave you with a passage from one of my favorites, Matthew McConaughey, from his book, Green Lights, and something else to reflect on before you leave today's podcast. What is success to me? Continue to ask yourself that question. How are you prosperous? What is your relevance? Your answer may change over time, and that's fine, but do yourself this favor. Whatever your answer is, don't choose anything to jeopardize your soul. Prioritize who you are, who you want to be, and don't spend time with anything that antagonizes your character. Don't spend time drinking the Kool-Aid. It's popular, it tastes sweet today, but it'll give you cavities tomorrow. Life is not a popularity contest. Be brave, take the hill. But first, answer this question: what's my hill? And I'll leave you with that. And I look forward to seeing you on another episode of A Life Well Lived, a Physician's Guide to Wealth podcast. Thank you for your time.